Hi guys, Materim here with another battle report. We finally got some clear weather, so managed to get another game in. Tonight it'll be my Demons of Chaos versus a Warriors of Chaos army in a 2,500 point battle line scenario. This will be only my second time of playing the Demons, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I don't have a whole lot of experience with the Warriors of Chaos, other than what I've heard about them online on forums and such. So I'm not really sure of how I'm going to handle their higher strength, higher toughness, and one-up armor saves. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully it'll be a learning experience and a really fun game. Let's get into it. Okay, so here's our board. Starting with terrain on the left, that first lake is an Earth Blood Mirror. Uh, the hill under it is just a normal hill. That big cave rock thing in the center is actually an Acropolis of Heroes. The other lake is Chimerian Quicksand. The Altar of Skulls there at the top is just a normal hill, and the building is a Dwarven brew house. Um, so my opponent placed the Acropolis of Heroes right in the center and said, "Hey, why don't we just fight over it?" So it's even though it's battle line, it's set up very similar to a watchtower scenario. So I think that the terrain kind of packs me in a little tight here. Normally, I want to maximize my movement with Slaanesh, which most of my army is composed of, but I'm definitely willing to go with it, and hopefully he doesn't choke up those channels and just crush face. Okay, so for deployment starting on my right, my opponent starts with a unit of 5 Chaos Hounds. Next to that on the hill, he has a unit of 3 Skull Crushers of Khorne with his general, a Chaos Lord on Juggernaut on it there. Uh, Chaos Lord starts with the Sword of Swift Slaying and Soul Feeder so he can regain wounds and always strike first. So definitely a big scary unit there. Okay, then we've got a unit of 20 Chaos Marauders with full command. Then he has his War Altar with a level 2 Chaos Sorcerer Lore of Fire on it. Unit next to that is a big unit of 23 Chaos Warriors of Khorne, full command on them as well. He also has another Chaos Lord um, in there on the left, and his BSB, which is an Exalted Hero of Khorne, on the right. Then he has a unit of 10 Chaos Knights of Khorne as his final unit there. So definitely a lot of strong units. My only thought at this point is to try and split them up and deal with them piece by piece, because I'm not going to be able to take all of that coming down my throat at one time. And this picture just shows where I'm going to be scouting my unit of 3 Nurgling bases there behind his Chaos Knights. I wish I could have said they accomplished anything, but they pretty much spent the whole battle trying to catch up. So on the hill, I have a unit of 10 Pink Horrors with a full command, and next to that, I have an Exalted Seeker Chariot of Slaanesh. Then I've got a unit of 20 Demonettes of Slaanesh with full command. I also have a Herald of Slaanesh in there, who is a level 1 Wizard of Shadow with 2 lesser gifts. And for the lesser gifts, I rolled Skill Swallower, which lets me increase a stat of my choice every time she kills a character in combat, and the Sword of Battle, which gives her an extra +1 to attack. Next to that, I have a unit of 21 Demonates with my BSB Herald of Slaanesh in there, who is also a level 1 Wizard of Shadow and has 2 lesser gifts. She got +2 ward save versus her first hit in combat, and the Sword of Might, which gives her +1 strength. Next to that, I have a unit of 5 Seekers of Slaanesh with full command set up in kind of a dart formation to be able to fit there. Okay, then I've got 6 Chaos Furies with the Mark of Slaanesh. Next to that is my Keeper of Secrets, who is a level 4 caster with the Lore of Slaanesh. She has an exalted gift of the Eternal Blade, as well as because she got doubly blessed. She gets a +2 ward save versus the first wound she takes. And she also has a lesser gift where she gets the strength 2 breath weapon with no armor saves allowed. Don't know how much it'll be helpful, but anything that'll let me get past some of the armor saves I'm looking at will be a good thing. Next to that, I have a Herald of Zenich on the disc, uh, a level 2 lore of Metal Caster there. And then all the way in the far right, I have a Seeker Chariot of Slaanesh that I've turned sideways. I've kind of seen in some of these battle reports where these guys turn them sideways so they can get a couple extra inches of movement on the first turn. It's a little weird to me, but I figured I'd try it and see if it made any real big difference. Sad to say it didn't, but that may very well be because I mangled my first couple of turns with that chariot. So let's go ahead and get into the game. So the Warriors of Chaos got the first turn, and this is what it looked like after his movement. He really aggressively just moved everything up in my face, pretty much like I expected. The one thing of particular note here is that he is moving up the Chaos Warriors behind the Acropolis of Heroes so that he can move into it next turn and hold the building. Only thing I've got really to take it if he's holding the building is my Demonettes. So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to let him have it. I'm not even going to try and contest that. And if nothing else, if he stays in there, that'll let me have some more time to deal with the rest of his army and not have to go face first into those warriors. Okay, so movement for my turn 1 starts with the Nurgling bases desperately trying to catch up with the fast-moving Warriors of Chaos army and really just not having the movement to do so. So I'm pretty sure that those Chaos Knights are coming right down my Demonate's throat. So I took my Exalted Seeker Chariot and got it the heck out of the way so that he can't perform the charge. That way, if he does come in there, I can set up, if I survive the first turn of combat, I can set up a counter charge in the flank of the Exalted Seeker Chariot and the pink horrors, which should give me the extra combat res from charging downhill. So I'm feeling pretty strong on that flank at this point. So I'm really worried about those Blood Crushers and the Marauders coming down and taking out stuff on my right flank here. So what I've done is I've moved up both the Chaos Furies and the Seekers of Slaanesh to sort of double chaff the anything that comes in there. They're all frenzied, so I know they're going to have to overrun. And even though I can't flee because I'm immune to psychology, the ultimate end there is to have the Blood Crushers rush into the Chaos Furies, and they're going to bash them to pieces. Then rush into the Seekers and probably bash them to pieces on the next turn, and end up overrunning right into a charge arc from my Demonates. So I think I've got it pretty set up. Just hoping he takes the bait. Now, to be totally honest on this flank, I have no idea what I think I was going to accomplish here with the Chariot. I turned it to face him so I could charge next turn and actually backed it up a little bit so that maybe I could get a charge, not even thinking for a moment that Chaos Hounds can actually flee, and that he was just baiting me to try and keep this Chariot out of the action, which he did pretty successfully for the first 2 rounds because of that. Now here we start my magic phase, which was incredibly strong. I had 11 dice to start and I channeled, so it was 12 dice. But then I proceeded to turn it into a kind of bleh magic phase by not paying attention to the synergies of my spells or what I was casting on. I did get Phantasmagoria on the unit of Blood Crushers, or Skull Crushers there, forgetting that they're frenzied, so they're immune to panic. I then had my Metal Mage blast them, and did take one out, and I was getting ready to see that sweet panic check until my opponent reminded me that they're all frenzied and they don't panic. So I guess I have to be happy with taking one of them out and now only having to deal with two of them plus the general over there. So I guess it could really be worse in the long term. Okay, so with nothing else left to go, we move into Warriors of Chaos turn 2. As I pretty much predicted, the Chaos Knights charged right into the Demonettes pretty easily, making that charge. I think they needed a 2. Um, so I knew they were going to get in there. Now I'm just hoping that I can hold them off. They're strong, they're frenzied, they've got a lot of hits, or a lot of armor, a lot of wounds. Um, and I'm strength 3, toughness 3. I have always strike first, but may not prove to be enough. So I'm just hoping to hold out and wait till next turn so those other 2 units can come in. Okay, and here my opponent obliged me by charging the Skull Crushers in to the Chaos Furies. Now he surprised me by charging the War Altar in too. I've not seen the War Altar in action, so I was kind of unsure of what to expect. So I was a little surprised that he went after my chaff like that. He left the Marauders in back, but I really think that these are probably the 2 stronger units and the ones I should be more concerned about. I'm hoping the overrun will work and will allow me to divert them right in front of my lines, but we'll have to see. And then he moves up the Chaos Hounds to make them a nice tasty target for the Chariot, hoping that I'll take the bait and go after it, which, spoiler alert, I do. And last but not least, we see the Chaos Warriors garrison the Acropolis of Heroes. That's his Chaos Lord that's sitting on top of it to mark that. Again, he can have it. I kind of have enough to handle outside the building, and if he wants to sit him there for a while, he's more than welcome to. I think it'll end up being a tactical mistake in the long term for him, but I'm willing to take advantage of it. And here we see the Skull Crushers have easily blown through my Chaos Furies, having suffered no wounds, and have moved straight on into my Seekers. They are having to realign pretty much as I was hoping, so when they finish these guys off, they should be moving right on into the path of the other large unit of Demonettes that I have there. So here in the other battle, the champion of the Chaos Knights had to declare a challenge, and so I accepted with my Herald of Slaanesh. This is the one that had the +1 strength and always strikes first, of course, with the Locust. So I cut him apart and always strikes first. I think I got 1 carryover. And then the rest of the Chaos Knights just proceeded to beat the tar out of my Demonettes. I ended up losing a bunch, and I think I was down by 6 once we calculated it. So I took a big hit and had to roll for demonic instability. And Slaanesh was with me as I rolled double 1s, which means I had all of the damage from the combat restored to the unit. And double 1s also meant, because I had only failed by 6, that I didn't take any further losses from the demonic instability from crumbling. So my Demonettes got returned to pre-combat conditions, and the Chaos Knights were down a champion and ready for a flank charge from my Chariot and the Pink Horrors on the hill. So, way to go, guys! And Demon turn 2 starts with my poor Nurgling struggling valiantly to try and reach the combat. And here I stupidly take the bait his Chaos Hounds offered and attempted to charge with the normal Seeker Chariot. They fled. Kind of surprised me they could do that because I'm for some reason thinking they're demons. So I fail the charge, and at this point it starts to occur to me that I'm using a 110 point Chariot to screw around with a 45 some odd point unit of dogs. So I probably need to think of a better use for that Chariot in the very near future. Alright, so here I'm getting pretty gutsy. I wanted to take out those Chaos Knights, so I charged in not only the Pink Horrors and the Chariot, but my other unit of Demonates hoping that I'd just go ahead and wipe them off the board and then be able to reform and deal with things. And then I guess I just got charge fever, so I decided it was time for the Keeper of Secrets to go mix things up, and charged her right into the flank of the Skull Crushers. Then I just repositioned the Herald on the disc there so he could get in on some magical action. And I was feeling pretty confident about this. Things looked pretty strong. Figure with the Keeper involved, I was pretty unlikely to have those blood or the Skull Crushers overrun into the back of my Demonettes, but it was still kind of a gamble. And just to show that I can ruin a good thing, I rolled 4 on the magic dice, which lessened my ward save across the entire army by 1. So now my only defenses are a 6-up ward save. But to show that the God Zinich does have a sense of humor, I was able to use those 4 dice to get off Cacophonic Choir on the Skull Crushers. So I thought that was pretty awesome until I killed one of them and my opponent took away the one from the side, which put my Keeper of Secrets out of the combat because she was no longer touching anything. So I now feel a lot less comfortable about that whole thing. And I had gotten 1 die from channeling, so that was all that was left after 4 dicing the Cacophonic Choir. So I tossed it on the Melkoth's Miasma on the Chaos Knights and succeeded and lowered their weapon skill by 3. So I was figuring, oh, this is going to be great. Low weapon skill, I should be able to get a bunch of wounds. I've got literally 2/3 of my entire army trying to deal with this one unit. So I figured those guys were not long for this world at all. So what you see here is the post-combat picture. Now the screwed up part is how this came to be. The Chaos Knights did a bunch of damage into the one unit of Demonettes. And my Demonettes, including the 2 characters, were just whiffing left, right, and down the center. And what they weren't whiffing, he was armor saving. So I was literally everything with Slaanesh just totally failed until the very end of the combat on Initiative 3. The Pink Horrors showed up to do business. They killed off 3 of the knights, which was enough wounds to make me win the combat, and he broke. But because of the way we were packed in, nobody succeeded in running him down. The chariot wasn't even part of the combat at the very end, so it didn't get the option. The Pink Horrors tried, and they ended up an inch behind him. Now, it looks like there's only 1 Pink Horror there, but that's just because it's really hard to balance them on that hill. So I just marked where the whole unit was and put them off to the side so we knew that was going on. But that whole unit, I think -1 Pink Horror is still there. And his Skull Crusher in general made short work of the Seekers, like I thought, and I thought I was screwed because he was going to overrun and go right into the back of my Demonettes there, until I realized that I had hit him with Cacophonic Choir, so he was on random movement D6. So I think he moved forward 3 inches on the overrun, still leaving him right there in the flank for my Keeper of Secrets and preventing him from just ruining the day of a bunch of my Demonettes. So definitely things were looking good for the followers of Slaanesh. So start of Warrior of Chaos, turn 3. The Chaos Hounds rally and try to bait my chariot again, but I'm hoping not to fall for it this time. So then the Chaos Warriors finally come out of the Acropolis of Heroes, hoping to mix it up. And due to the random movement from Cacophonic Choir, his General and Skull Crusher failed to charge into the Keeper of Secrets, so they're stuck about an inch away, which will set me up for a very nice counter charge. And because he wasn't able to do anything, all he did was rally the Chaos Knights and then it was my turn. Now I'm going to apologize in advance here. Several of my pictures didn't come out right, so I'll try and explain what's going on. First thing, I did charge that smaller unit of the Demonettes into his Chaos Warriors, and of course I charged the Keeper of Secrets into the Skull Crushers. You'll notice there that his general is dead. That actually stems from probably the most comically unfortunate magic phase I've seen. Uh, I got 6 dice and decided just a 6 dice cacophonic choir on the big 12-inch bubble so I could get everybody there. And I got it irresistibly and miscast and did a few wounds here and there, which brought the general up to 2 wounds. Then for the miscast, I rolled a 3, so I did the large template for strength 10 hit. I still had the 2+ ward save against my first hit on the Keeper of Secrets, so she was fine, but the miscast killed the Warriors of Chaos General. So just liquefied him on the spot and pretty much made it so the Skull Crusher there was just going to get chewed apart by a greater demon. In addition to giving everything in that huge bubble always strikes last, so I was thinking that was, for just 6 dice, that was probably the most powerful magic phase I could have possibly wanted. And here you see the Warriors of Chaos just tear into the Demonettes. He challenged with his Chaos Lord, and I threw the unit champion under the bus. But he didn't roll very well, so he got killed it and did 2 overrun. But that allowed me to use my Herald of Slaanesh to kill off his BSB. So in this turn, he's lost his BSB and his general, and it's not looking too good for the Warriors at this point. And this picture just shows that I finally decided to stop messing around with the Chaos Hounds and tried to bring that chariot into the fight. I think this may be from Warrior turn 4, where he's having the hounds try and chase the chariot down at this point. And the random movement from last turn's Cacophonic Choir basically makes the War Altar stagger forward 4 inches. I think the Marauder staggered forward 1. Unfortunately, that forward momentum on the War Altar did not bring it out of the front arc of the Keeper of Secrets, so I'm looking at another tasty flank charge at that point. But more importantly, his warriors are just having to stand on their own because the rest of the army is just not coming to help him at this point. What's left of it, that is. And here you can see that a pillow fight has broken out between the Chaos Knights and the Pink Horrors. They're going to be tied up there pretty much for the rest of the game. I'm ward saving like a champ, and the Pink Horrors just can't do anything to that armor save anymore. So they're just kind of whiffing back and forth at each other. But really, this is kind of incidental at this point. The real fight is in the middle of the table, and we both know it. And you see that the Warriors of Chaos destroy the Demonette unit. Now that I'm looking at this actually may be something we played wrong. I think his Chaos Warriors still have Frenzy at this point. So my understanding is he probably should have overrun when he destroyed the Demonette unit rather than reforming. But at this point, we were just kind of going with it, and I don't think either of us thought about it. But he's set up here to take a front charge from both the Demonettes and the Exalted Chariot, and he's pretty much saying bring it. So I'm more than happy to oblige him at this point and finish wiping this up, not quite realizing the monster he's got in that Chaos Lord that's still left. Okay, so we have my charges from Demon turn 4. I did charge the front of the Chaos Warriors with my Demonettes and the Exalted Chariot. Managed to get a long charge with the normal Seeker Chariot in the back of that unit, although it doesn't quite look like that, but those long tongues of the Seekers don't make it easy to rank up. And I charge the flank of the War Altar with my Keeper of Secrets. That spell card down there, I think it was the Flaming Sword of Ruin that the Warriors sorcerer got off on him last turn. And as you can see here, the Keeper of Secrets just tore apart the War Altar and overran right into the back of the Chaos Warriors. So his Chaos Lord, who is now sitting at toughness 8 from all of the rolls on the Eye of Chaos table, challenges, my Keeper of Secrets accepts, and I get a good enough roll on the Eternal Blade that I'm strength 8. So we kind of exchanged a wound, or she did one wound to me. I ended up killing her in the challenge, maybe? Yeah, I think so. And so between that and the few other wounds, really the impact wounds were what did most of it here. The unit broke and got ran down. So this is sort of the last combat picture we have here. And here is just a last look at the board at end of game. After that last main unit was killed, my opponent just called it. We shook hands. It's a good game. So all in all, victory to the Demons of Chaos. So just a few final thoughts about the game. It was a lot of fun. Me and my opponent both had a great time. I love playing his armies. They're always so amazingly painted. So it's definitely a treat to see the kind of detail he puts in there. And with this army in particular, he's going very theme heavy. His whole army is of Khorne, so he's not getting a lot of the crazier stuff that's available in the Warriors of Chaos, which is good. I definitely loved the Keeper of Secrets. This is the first time I've gotten to field a greater demon, so had a lot of fun there. And I just absolutely loved the spell lore of Slaanesh. Even without the miscast, which frankly was a turning point in this game, those spells are awesome. There's a lot of power to them, and it definitely gives you the kind of control you need to make up for the fact that most of your army is lower strength, lower toughness. And really the only defenses even your lords have are that 5+ ward save. But all in all, it was a great game against a great opponent. It was a lot of fun. I'm definitely enjoying the Demons of Chaos. It's a big change from my normal Ogre army list. So that's a lot of fun. And I'm hoping we'll get some more games in this week now that the weather is clearing up, and I should have some more battle reports for you guys soon. I appreciate it, and you guys, thanks for watching.